children. It is my second class in this chapter, sexual reproduction in flowering plants. So in last class, we discussed the pre-fertilization structures and events in which stamen, microsporangium and pollen grains. So before, already we discussed only stamen and microsporangium. So the remaining, the pollen grain, so today we discussed that. So just the previous, the microsporangium in which we discussed the TS of iron anther. The anther is enclosed by 4 wall layers. Those are epidermis, endothelium, middle layers, tapetum. So what these all layers which are protective in function. So and also which helps to dehiscence of anther wall. So in the tapetum, it is encovered by a spiraginous tissue. The spiraginous tissue, which is involved in meiotic division to produce pollen or pollen tetrad. So primitively, those are tetrad nature. So because each spiraginous tissue which divide meiotically to produce 4 pollen grains. Primitively, 4 pollen grains which are present in the contact with one another as like that is the pollen tetrad nature. These pollen tetrad which consist of 4 pollen grains which are attached one to another. So later on, while they are matured, the wall of that is where those pollen grains which are contact or connect, it is dissolved. After dissolved, it is individually released from that pollen tetrad. So what the structure? It is called as a pollen grain. So today we discussed that is the pollen grain. The pollen grain is a male gametophyte. Pollen grain is a male gametophyte. So because these pollen grain which produce 2 male gametes, each pollen grain which produce 2 male gametes, those 2 male gametes are the 2 sperms. So those hence it is the pollen grain is called as a male gametophyte. So regarding the structure of a pollen grain, so while at the time of a flower is opened, just you touch the anther, a powder is attached to your fingers. It is a powdery substance. That powdery substance which consists that is the pollen grains. For example, in hibiscus flower, the yellow powder is attached to your fingers while you are touching. That yellow powder, those which are called as pollen grains. So these pollen grains which are covered with the 2 wall layers. So here for example, every pollen grain which covered with 2 wall layers, these 2 wall layers are outer exiled and inner intile. The outer wall is exiled, the inner wall is intile. These wall layers are named by Fritsch. Fritsch, according to Fritsch, he called these the wall layers of pollen exile and intile. This terminology is given by Fritsch in 1837. In 1837, Fritsch, who named the wall layers of pollen grain. that is exile and indile. So these outer exile is discontinuous layer. It is not continuous. So because the colon wall, that is the outer exile, it consists of numerous pores. Those numerous pores which are called as germ pores. That is numerous pores which are present on exile, which are called as germ pore. So due to presence of germ pore on colon wall, hence the exile is discontinuous layer. So while in the exile, the structurally the exile is made up with that is sporopollenin. Sporopollenin. So while the detailed structure of exile, the exile is once again it is divided into ectexile, endexile. Ectexile and endexile. The ectexile, it is the outer layer. The endexile, it is the inner layer of, that is the only outer wall of these colon. So once again, these exile is consists of three wall layers, that is outer tectum, middle baculum, and inner foot layer. So these three layers which are present only in ectexile. So before the ectexile there is presence of endexile. So especially the endexile or ectexile, it is totally considered as exile. This exile outer or it is made up with, that is sporopollenin. This sporopollenin, it is produced by tapetal cells. So at the time of anther, which is covered with four wall layers, that is epidermis, endothelium, middle layers, and tapetum. The cells of tapetum, which is nourishing function, which supply the food for developmental colon grind. So at the time of nourishment, these tapetal cells which has provide the contents of sporopollenin, the sporopollenin which are present on the exile. So here, due to presence of sporopollenin on the wall of that is colon grind, so these sporopollenin which resist to high acidic or high temperature or high alkalinity. So like due to presence of sporopollenin which protect the entire colon grind. So at the time of these colon grinds which are shedding from flower at the 2-cell stage or 3-cell stage. At the time of shedding of colon grinds from the flower means at the time of dehiscence of anther, at the time of dehiscence of anther, the colon grinds are either 2-cell stage or 3-cell stage. So what are the 2 cells which are present in the colon grind? See here, for example, it is a colon grind. In colon grind, there is the colon nucleus. The colon nucleus which divide mitotically. The colon nucleus divide mitotically to produce 2 cells. Those 2 cells are vegetative cell and generative cell. One is vegetative cell, another one is generative cell. Here, the pollen nuclei divided mitotically to produce two cells. Those two cells are, that is, unequal cell division. At the time dividing of nuclei, that is unequally divided, there is production of two cells or the two products produced by this mitotic cell division. That is, one is vegetative cell, another one is generative cell. Due to unequal cell division, one cell is larger. The larger cell, it is called as vegetative cell. The larger cell, it is called as vegetative cell. The smaller one is called as generative cell. Why it is the vegetative cell is larger in size? Because it stored a food content or nutrients which are present in that vegetative cell, which consists dense cytoplasm and even larger nuclei. So as the vegetative cell is larger in size. Another one cell, that is the generative cell, it is smaller. These smaller generative cell which present in the cytoplasm of vegetative or that is pollen. The vegetative cell, the generative cell, it primitively attached the wall of vegetative cell, but later on, while the pollen grain is completely matured, the vegetative cell is floating condition. The generative cell is floating condition present in the cytoplasm of vegetative cell. The smaller cell, which is floating condition in the cytoplasm of vegetative cell. It is freely swimming in the cytoplasm of vegetative cell. As like these two cells are the two cells of a pollen grain. As like the larger one is called as vegetative cell, the smaller one is called as generative cell. So it is the vegetative cell, it is the generative cell. So functionally is also little bit varied. For example, a larger vegetative cell which consists of nutrients, but these functionally the vegetative cell has a main role to produce a pollen tube. The pollen tube is produced by the pollen tube which is produced by the vegetative cell. And at the time of the generative cell, it divides mitotically only to produce two male gametes. Means the generative cell which produce two male gametes. The vegetative cell which produce, that is the pollen tube at the time of germination. Here the pollen tube which is formed by only the inner layer, that is the intine. The intine is elaborated. The intine is protruded out through the germ pore. So only the main function of germ pore is it helps to exit or that is the protruding of pollen tube through the germ pore. See, depend upon the presence of germ pores. The main function of germ pore which helps to protrude or exit the pollen tube at the time of germination. The pollen grain which germinated on the stigmatic surface. So at the time of germination, each pollen grain which produce normally a single pollen tube. Under exceptional conditions, maybe there is 3 pollen tubes which are emerged from that is Catranthus roseus. So as like here, there is the 2 wall layers, that is exine and intine. That is, exine is made up with sporopollen. It is a discontinuous layer. The intine is continuous layer. Intine is continuous layer. So it is the entire, it is a continuous layer. This continuous layer, it is made up with pectin and cellulose. So commonly it is called as pectocellulosic material. Pectocellulosic material. Like the two wall layers, that is exile and intile. The exile, which is made up with sporopollen, the intile made up with, it is pectin and cellulose or pectocellulosic material. So as at the time of what we say is a pollen rind which is shedding either 2-celled stage or 3-celled stage. So normally more than 60% of pollen rinds which shedding at the time of 2-celled stage. At the time of 2-celled stage means presence of only 2 cells, that is vegetative cell and generative cell. So as a pollen rind which is shedding at the time of 3-celled stage means there is presence of a vegetative cell. One is vegetative cell. The 2 cells, it is nothing but there is presence of 2 male gametes which is produced by a generative cell. The 2 male gametes which is produced by, that is generative cell. These 2 male gametes and a vegetative cell, there is presence of 3 cells. So it is the 3-celled stage, the pollen rind is shutting down. So means here, one thing we keep it in our mind, sometimes the generative cell which is divided to produce 2 male gametes, while the pollen rind which is present inside the anther. Means the pollen is completely matured inside the anther only. Then once again it is, then once that is the, when it is released, the complete pollen is matured inside the anther. Then it is released, that is the certain, in nearly 40% of animals, they release the pollen rise at the stage of 3-celled stage. In the 3-celled stage, that is 3 cells are generative cell and 2 male gametes. So here, these pollen which is carried by sometimes insects, during which the insects which carried the pollen rise because of due to presence of a pollen kit. A pollen kit. Pollen kit is nothing but it is a viscous pre-natured content which is present external to the pollen grain. There is nothing but viscous fluid, it is nothing but it consists certain lipids, certain glycoproteins, certain monosaccharides. So these are present in that outer viscous fluid. It gives little bit gummy-like substance. By presence of these pollen kit, it helps to attachment of legs of insects, or even that is what we call that is insect pollinated flowers, that is entomophilous flowers, which consist a special content that is a pollen kit. So after once a pollen rind is released from the flower, what is the time it is viable condition? That is nothing but surviving condition external. For example, in rice and wheat or paddy, in those plants, the pollen rind viability is only in 30 minutes. In wheat or paddy, the pollen viability is 30 minutes. Means at the time of a pollen rind released from the anther, while it is reached the stigmatic surface, on the stigmatic surface within 30 minutes. It will not able to landing on stigmatic surface. The pollen lose its viability. Means the pollen, it does not germinate. So as like if pollen lose its viability, it is not able to germinate. So even these pollen viability is little bit certain months. That is the members of Rosaceae, Solanaceae. In these members, the pollen viability, it is nearly certain months. The pollen viability is certain months in the families like Rosaceae and Solanaceae. So even these pollen grains, which may be stored in long duration, the scientist who is identify the method, these pollen grains which are stored in unlimited duration. So it is nothing but the technique called cryopreservation. So here the pollen grains stored in minus 196 degrees centigrade in liquid nitrogen. So where the pollen grains which are stored in minus 196 degrees centigrade in liquefied nitrogen or liquid nitrogen, then the pollen grains viability is unlimited duration. It will be viable. So when we are stored in the cryopreservation technique, that cryopreservation technique are the pollens which are used as pollen bank. So when we require that pollen bank, we are taken from that pollen bank, and we are used the pollen for the crossing or for the pollination. So like by this technique, we preserve what the extinct or near extinct species like the plant species. So maybe we have preserved the pollen grains for the culturing of such a species or the near extinct species. So like here, these pollen which are consist very nutritious, that is high nutritious contents, like those which consist of glycoproteins or lipids, due to presence of those which are used as to consuming as a food source. For example, while at the time of making of honey, the honey consists a number of pollen grains. At the time of while we consume the honey, what we get the pollen grains, which are also the source of energy. So because the pollen grains are also which is nutritious or which are used as the source of food. So today in certain countries it is little bit fashionable. While we are using a pollen tablet, the pollen tablet is also used as a rich nutritious content. So as it is the food source. So like as the pollen grains are a very nutritious food source. So students, the pollen grain, the pollen morphology, the pollen structure. According to pollen morphology, while the exile and intent what we are regarding already discussed. In certain species, the exine is common or not continuous, it is only discontinuous. It is little bit polar morphology is outer wall morphology is different. Outer wall morphology is little bit different. So here, what we shown here, little bit ornamentation, that is the decorative. Outer exine is decorative, but here normal. So even the size of these pollen grain is also nearly 25 to 50 micrometer. 25 to 50 micrometer, which are smaller in size, very smaller. So that is the totally the pollen grain which present in the pre-fertilization structures and events. So next. Next heading, the pistil, megasporangium, and is also called as ovule and embryo sac. The next heading is the pistil, megasporangium or ovule and embryo sac. So previously we discussed that is a male reproductive part, that is androecium. So these are the pre-fertilization structures which are present in the oral wall gynoecium. As we discussed the previous class, a flower consists 4 whorls, that is calyx, corolla, androecium, gynoecium. The calyx is outer layer of flower or first whorl of flower, which consists members of calyx or the units of calyx called, that is sepal. So as in the gynoecium, the second whorl, that is corolla. The corolla consists the members of corolla called petals. Third whorl or the first essential whorl, that is androecium. The members of androecium called stamens. The second essential whorl, that is the gynoecium. The gynoecium is the female reproductive part of flower. Female reproductive part of flower. That is the gynoecium. So these gynoecium, which consist the members of gynoecium called pistil, or it is also called as carpel. Pistil, it is nothing but the entire a part of gynoecium, means if a flower or the gynoecium, it consists single pistil, that is gynoecium with single pistil. It is what they are called as monocarpellary. If maybe gynoecium with many pistils, Gynosium with many pistils, which is called as multicarpellary. A gynosium with many pistils means presence of number of pistils or carpels which are called as multicarpellary. So these many pistils which may be fused condition. Pistils, if they are fused, pistils are fused, which is called as syncarpus. So as maybe either pistils are free condition. If pistils are free condition, that is apocarpus. That is syncarpus or apocarpus. Even in the gynosium, which consists in the ovary, there is presence of lacules. Lacules are also sometimes fused. It is called as syncarpus ovary. In that lacules which are free condition, that is apocarpus ovary. So here, each pistil which consists of three important parts. Is a pistil of a flower. So in the basal, it is bulged or swollen portion of that pistil or carpel, which is called as ovary. So that ovary, which mediate with the stigmatic surface by long, a slender, a junction called style. The tip of pistil, it is called as stigma. Each pistil which consists three parts, that is ovary, style, stigma. The stigma is that is landing surface of pollen grain. Stigma is landing surface of pollen grain. So at the time of shedding of pollen from anther, the pollen grains which fall on stigmatic surface. Hence, the stigma is the landing surface of pollen. Which is stigma. That is, stigma is landing surface of pollen or pollen grains, where the pollen grains are, that is, germinate. If the stigmatic surface, which is always most of the, there is wet condition. Due to wet condition, the pollen grains are attached to stigmatic surface. If pollen is erode, then the condition of the stigmatic surface is dry nature. Due to wet condition of stigmatic surface, which helps to sticking of these pollen grains, means it is nothing but pollen surface, that is the stigmatic surface is wet condition. Due to wet, the pollen grains are attaching. If maybe the pollen, that is the stigmatic surface, is dry condition, the pollen is not attached. So it is also one of the condition of sometimes the pollen grain is not germinate on the surface of stigma. That is one of the outbreeding device. Due to maturing time of pollen and maturing time of, that is stigmatic surface, is in different time. So like here, these the stigmatic surface, is most of that is wet condition which helps to attachment of pollen grain at the time of during landing time of the pollen. The free end of these style which consists of stigmatic surface. The junction between stigma and ovary. The junction between stigma and ovary is a long or slender, long, slender, either cylindrical, either hollow or solid. Style is there. The style is long or extended or slender nature. It is maybe a structure like a cylindrical nature around. For example, while we see that is the stigma of hibiscus, it is very the style of hibiscus is long, very long. That is slender. Either hollow is nothing but it is the wall of style. In between these two walls, there is presence of fully the tissue is present. Then it is what we are called as solid nature. If maybe presence of tissue, even though presence of tissue, there is presence of space. It is what they are called as hollow. This hollow space which is able to easy growth of pollen tube at the time of pollen tube growth towards the ovary. So at the time of solid nature, in solid nature also the pollen tube which grow in the style, during which if the pollen tube is a pollen gland, or the pollen tube is emerging from the pollen gland, the tip of the pollen gland, the pollen tube, which consists certain digestive enzymes. So these digestive enzymes which enter, which make it path. So as the digestive enzymes which digest the tissue of the solid nature of style. If there is presence hollow, it is easily entered. If may be presence of solid nature of that style, the digestive enzymes which digest the tissue make it the path, make it the space in the solid nature of these styles. So as it helps to easily the growth of the pollen tube in solid nature of styles. If maybe it is hollow, there is no need of releasing of these digestive enzymes. After the next part, that is ovary. Ovary is basal, bulging or swollen portion of pistil. That is, ovary is present in the base of the pistil, and it is bulged or swollen. It is little bit bulged. So due to presence of the growth of ovules. So as these ovary after fertilization developed as fruit. the part of ovary, it is a part of ovary, that is the part of pistil, that is the ovary. It is after fertilization, it developed as a fruit. The wall of ovary, it developed as that is epicarp, or that is the fruit wall or epicarp. So as like inside the ovary, there is presence of number of vacuoles. Inside the ovary, presence of either single or many vacuoles. If maybe the ovary consists of single lacule, that is called as monolacular ovary. Monolacular ovary. If the ovary consists of two lacules, that is the condition what we are called as bilacular ovary. The ovary consists of three lacules, one lacule, two lacules, three lacules, that is trilacular ovary. As it consists of many lacules present in that is what we are called as multilacular ovary. Multilacular ovary. As like if two or three or many, if the lacules are fused condition, that is syncarpous ovary. If the lacules are fused, the ovary called syncarpous ovary. If the lacules are free, it is what we are called as apocarpous ovary. Apocarpous ovary. So the lacules which are present inside the ovary, each ovary consists either single lacule. If it is contained single lacule, it is called as monolacular ovary. The ovary consists of either 2, 3, 4, 5 like this. As we given the name like bilacular, trilacular, tetralacular, pentalacular. If it is consists more than that is multilacular ovary. Inside that ovary, the lacules, whether if more than 2 or many, the lacules are fused condition, that is nothing but all the lacules which are fused. The condition what we are called as syncarpous ovary. In the ovary, the lacules are free, as we see in that is the orange, that is the apocarpous ovary. In that, the lacules are which are free condition, they are not attached one to another. That condition what we are called as apocarpous ovary. So in the ovary, there is presence of inside that each lacule, a lacule consists single or many ovules. A lacule which consists either single or many ovules. So these ovules, after fertilization, which developed as seed. the ovules which are developed as seed after fertilization, which are rotated in the vacuole. So if these ovules which are originate on the placenta present in the vacuole, as we called the arrangement of ovules, the arrangement of ovules in ovary. The arrangement of ovules in ovary is called as placentation. The placentation already we discussed in previous class. So as placentation is marginal placentation. Axial placentation, in which here in hibiscus each locule consists of two ovules. It is the locule, it is the ovule. Here, the ovules attached the placenta present at the center or in the axil. So, the type of placentation it is called as axial placentation. In peripheral placentation, as we see in pumpkin, a papaya, in which the placenta, it is present in the peripheral side of that is inside, where the placenta present in the periphery of fruit. So that is pumpkin or papaya. We see this type of placentation, what we are called as peripheral placentation. In free central placentation, it is nothing but here as we see in chili, the placenta present at the center, but there is no presence of cross walls, absence of cross wall. So there is no cross wall. As the placenta present in the center, on the placenta there is origination of ovules. So it is the ovule. So the type of placentation what we are called as precentral placentation. So the last type, the basal placentation, it is seen in sunflower, in the sunflower fruit. So the seed it is attached to base of the fruit. Base of the fruit. It is also consists of single locule, where the ovule is attached to the base of fruit. The type what we are called as that is basal placentation. So like these are different types of placentation. Already we discussed in previous classes. So next in next class we discuss the megasporangium and embryo sac.